What's up, guys? Caleb here from Srkcycles.com, and you are looking at a 2004 Harley Davidson Road King. This thing is all geared up. Saddlebags, tour pack, highway bars. This thing has got everything. Let's take it for a spin. So the first thing I notice when I get on this bike is that the bars are a tad bit low. I am 6'4", so you know, I am a little bit of an exception, but they are a tad bit low. But I also noticed that the rider backrest is super comfortable. I could just sit in this seat for days. This bike is super geared up. One thing I didn't say is it also has the windshield, which you can see, which is in killer condition. Actually, it's super clear. Really nice windshield, really good looking bike with the white walls and the tour pack and basically everything you need on it. There's really nothing you can add to this bike. So 2004, we got an 88 cubic inch with a 5-speed transmission. So this bike does have a little bit smaller the motor than the bikes of today, but 5-speed transmission. It's geared pretty good. That 6 gear is really just like an overdrive gear, so I don't think you need really, honestly, personally, I don't think you need more than 5. You're not going to be doing 90 on your Harley anyways, in my personal opinion. So why do you need it? So this bike will do perfectly fine. You can throw someone on the back. It's got plenty of power, and you can take it for a spin. So this bike in particular, like I said, guys, the bars are a little low for me. So if this is something you're interested in buying, that is just something to note. You might want to just get some bigger bars or turn them up a little bit. But with that being said, I am a little bit scrunched. The touring seat with the low bars and all that jazz, my knees are around the tank. I am 6'4", so that is just something to keep in mind. However, one easy way to fix that is to get some highway pegs, space out those legs. So if you do those things, it is going to be a super easy adjustment to getting this bike to fit you perfectly. Now, with these Road Kings, I know that there's a lot of love for the Road King, considering that it is kind of the lowest center of gravity in the touring family. You get a little bit more, I think, than the Fat Boy, but it's not as daunting as a Street Glider and Ultra. So that is one thing I want to say. I am confirming that this bike is super comfortable, super easy to maneuver, super low center of gravity. Just a really easy bike to ride, an easy bike to get used to. If you jump from a Sportster and you're like, hey, I'm going to make a huge jump, I'm going to go straight from a Sportster to a Road King, I really don't think it's going to be that horrible of a jump, that big of a jump. I really think you can get a ton of, I think you can get a ton of power, and it's an easy handling bike. So, my professional opinion would be, if you're going to make a jump from a smaller bike to a big touring bike, and you want an easy bike to handle with a low center of gravity, the Road King's a great bike for you. I think you get a little bit more than the Fat Boy, but I also think you're not limiting yourself like you kind of are with the Fat Boy. Fat Boy, you got to add a lot of stuff, I think, to tour with it. I don't think it's as comfortable. I don't think it's meant for that as much. Just my personal opinion. I could be wrong. A lot of people love the Fat Boy, but I'm more of a Road King guy myself. So just a couple things I want to note on this bike in particular. Windshield is a good height for me. I'm 6'4", and I'm not getting hit by any wind. The only thing that is happening is I'm kind of trading time between looking through the windshield and looking over the windshield, so I just need to make a conscious effort to kind of look over it instead of through it. So if you're lower than 6'4", you'll probably look under it. If you're over 6'4", you'll probably look over it. I am more of a look over it kind of guy. Not a big fan of looking through a windshield, but that's just my personal opinion. Second thing I want to note, and I've seen this with other Road Kings and other older-ish Harleys, is this clutch is a little bit tough to pull in. The brakes the same way, they're a little bit stiff. So that might be something you want to change up. That's probably something I would personally change up. My dad rides a 97 Road King. His is extremely tough to pull in. And, you know, that's just something that kind of bothers me. I don't know why. I just don't feel like it should be that hard to quick shift. I mean, use the clutch real quick to go through. Next thing I want to note, This does have cruise control, which is probably one of the best features that you could have on a bike, in my personal opinion. Cruise control is super comfortable. You're riding on the highway, the last thing you want to do is worry about shifting all the time, and always, well, last thing you want to do is worry about your throttle all the time. So that is a super nice feature on a 2004 to have that cruise control. You get on the highway, you set your cruise at 70, 75, 80, and boom, you're on your way. You can kind of kick back in this comfortable seat, kick your legs up on the highway pegs and kind of cruise. That's a really, really, really nice feature. The third thing I want to know, like I said before, guys, is this thing already has the saddlebags on it, which is a standard feature on the Road Kings because it is a touring bike. But it also has the tour pack, and so this tour pack is not cheap. If you wanted to get a matching tour pack to these bags, you're looking at upwards of probably a couple $100. By the time you get the mounting hardware and everything, you may be almost pushing $1,000. I may be horribly off on those numbers from what I've purchased from Harley. That would be my very educated guess. So that is not a cheap upgrade. So if you're gonna buy a Road King and you're gonna want a tour pack, get one with it on it. It's even harder to get one that's painted, but to get one that matches this scheme exactly, that's really nice. It doesn't look awkward on the bike. You don't have a red bike with a hard black tour pack that just is like some add-on. So that's the really nice thing, is it is a Harley Davidson specific tour pack, which I really like. The last thing I want to note for this bike is that all of the gauges work. To the best of my knowledge, all of the buttons they're not worn, they're not faded, the grips are in good shape, they're not sticky, the mirrors work, they're not cracked. It only has 31,000 miles on it, which is awesome. Super low mileage, in my opinion, for these touring bikes. Since 2004, someone only put 30,000 miles on a touring bike. In my opinion, they didn't ride it very much. And so you're getting a bike that has been maintained really well, a bike that has not been beat up, and a bike that has some cool features. The white walls, the touring, the tour pack, the saddlebags matching. It's got this cool dash cover here, so I'm sure beneath that is in great shape. But all of the buttons are in great shape. All of the buttons, you can still see what they read. That's a really good thing. I just think it's a nice... I just think it makes the bike look nicer when you can read all of the lettering, when everything's not faded. That's just my personal opinion, but that's kind of where I'm at with this bike. So guys, like I said, I'm 6'4". I'm riding a 2004 Harley Davidson Road King. This bike is amazing for touring. It's got the cruise control, it's got the highway bars, it's got the tour pack with the it's got the matching saddlebags with the tour pack. It's got the windshield, which actually is blocking all of the wind for me right now. The only thing I wanted to note was that the bars were a little bit low, in my opinion, but it's got everything you need to tour, and it's got really, really, really low mileage, in my opinion, for a touring bike. It's got a really comfortable seat, it's got the rider backrest, it's got the passenger backrest. This bike, you can really not add anything to this bike besides maybe your own personal flair. So like I said, guys, great bike. You'll find the price on the website. You'll also find the walk around video on the website, which I just did. I'm in love with this bike, guys. This bike will not last long. You are someone in California, you know how easily low mileage bikes like this go. If you're anyone, you know how easily low mileage bikes like this go. Definitely make sure to check out the website, srkcycles.com, as well as follow us on Instagram at srkcycles. Thanks a ton for watching, guys.